This Google Sheet actually takes Amazon brands and matches them to particular suppliers, which are suppliers that are provided on a list. And what it does is it actually determines that these brands are at these particular suppliers. And the way it does that is by performing an automated web search in the background and then looking to see if these suppliers are in the results. Now, the first thing I'd like to do is actually show you how to use this spreadsheet, all right, or to use this Google Sheet. And there are a bunch of buttons you might notice at the top, and at the left you have the brands, all the stuff for brands, and then at the right you have the stuff for suppliers. Okay, and basically I'm going to start out by actually clearing the sheet, by clearing the suppliers. Now when you try to use any of these buttons, all of these buttons have a mini program attached to it. It's going to ask for authorization to run the script, for the permission to run the script. So you can say continue here where it says authorization required. Alright, and then you have to select your account, which is the account to run it, and then you click on advanced. And once you do that, you're going to go to brands to suppliers unsafe. Right now, I know it says unsafe, but it's really not unsafe. This is just something Google does, I guess, to protect itself, basically, right? So you go ahead and click that, and you say brands to suppliers. That's the name of the script. Wants access to your Google, and you just say allow. Okay, and all that really means is that the script behind here is going to be allowed to run. Without that, you won't be able to do anything. Even when I run this on my own account, I have to go through that process. I have to give my own script permission to run on my own account that I created the script on. So might seem kind of strange, but that's how it is. So when you click clear suppliers now, it should work and it will clear everything on suppliers. If you click clear brands, it should also clear the brands. I'm not going to clear the brands because I need the brands right now. And now I'm going to show you how this works. So the first thing is the auto match supplier. So if you have a brand over here in this same row under supplier, make sure you're right here in supplier 1, you do auto match suppliers, and it will find multiple suppliers, if there are multiple suppliers, from this list to match the brand, meaning this brand should be found. Now Amazon.com comes up because Amazon.com is on the list of suppliers. Now you can actually this is actually a formula which is calling the program brand to suppliers from the background, so the formula can be copied down just like any other formula. Like I said, most will say Amazon. Some give you not found. Alright, there are different reasons why it might be not found. It might actually just not be found at these suppliers, but it also might just be a thing that for some reason it didn't get a result this particular time. Sometimes that happens. It's a little strange, but the function that does the searching, that allows me to search through Google Sheets, which is provided by Google, I guess you could say, or by Google within Google, sometimes doesn't get a result. Okay, so sometimes you have to do it again and you might get a result, or you might not. Usually if I don't get a result, I just keep going. If you don't get a result, just keep going. Don't really spend a lot of time with that. Just keep going, because like I said, there might be results or there might not even be results for that brand from those suppliers, right? You never really know, so it's better just to go ahead and keep going down, if anything. And you can go down as far as you're willing to go at the moment. All right, so at this point I already have a decent number of brands here that I've tried to source. And okay, so once you get brands to pop up like this, it's a good idea to click the stamp suppliers. What stamp suppliers will do is remove the formula and just leave the names behind. So I'm going to show you what that does. Stamp suppliers, that makes them permanent. The reason why I created this is because what happens is when you have the formula, it will keep on recalculating. It will keep recalculating. When it keeps recalculating, it might keep changing the results, and we don't want to get like different, suppliers or something. You don't want it to keep recalling the program over and over again. All right, there are different reasons why you just kind of don't want that. So when you stamp it, it makes it permanent. So now that will just stay how it is. But if you're really like wanted to know what happened with a particular brand, you can go back where it says not found and hit auto match again if you want on just this particular one. But if you keep getting not found, it's just, you can go manual if you want also and just Google it. That's why I try to make it convenient with the Google. But keep in mind, some brands might be private label. Maybe they're not from a supplier, okay, or something like that. So, there's different reasons why they're not found, as I said before. Now, next thing I want to talk about, that's how the sheet works, okay? And of course, you saw the clear function earlier. Okay, this side, if you've seen my other videos, you know that this is like to check the brand. So like if you see a brand right here, for instance, at Wayfair, and you want to check out that brand on Amazon. So basically, you can use that feature to go in here, look at the brand a little more closely, look at some products, okay, and then if you want to try to source or whatever. But what I'd like to do is show you another function, because I need you to know how to use the sheet, right, so you can use it. Now, enter supplier domain below. All right, let me be more clear on this. What this is to actually filter out the supplier, and I should have probably put something here to indicate that, and I probably will. So this is a supplier filter. So if I want to see like Wayfair in particular, I could actually type in wayfair.com in this box, and whenever it finds wayfair.com as one of the sources for the brand, it will light up and say found. Okay, that's what it's basically set to do, right? Now, of course, you can visually go through here and try to find, well, I didn't go that far. I didn't source down that far, but you could look to see where it's found. But another option you have is you can actually just go here and filter, clear, and go to found. And then you can just see like the ones that are found at wayfair.com. So now you know, okay, these are the Wayfair brands, and then you can just check these brands. These are brands that have Wayfair somewhere in the results, right? Okay, because the thing is, the brand could be, the supplier could be in supplier 1, he could be in 2, they could also be in it could be in supplier 1, supplier 2, or supplier 3, right, or further. So this kind of brings all of them together so you can search all the columns at the same time. Right, I'm just gonna kind of like, let me see. Okay, so actually I'd like to take this down further, and I like to, whoops, no, actually, sorry, that's not the auto match. Auto match first, get the formula, then you can copy it down. All right, and then you can take this further if you wish, right? You just have to wait for it. Okay. Alright, now, I generally don't like to try to do the whole thing at once. I feel like the more demand you put on it at one time, the more it might have a higher probability. I haven't like proven this, but I think it gives it more work to do it once, and perhaps it might leave out some results, possibly. Okay, I'm not 100% sure about that though, but that's how it seems to me at least. But that being said, it does this number of results pretty well. So I'm thinking more like if you went into like the thousands, probably it would probably have issues. But I think for like 300 or brands, it seems to be okay. That you can pretty much copy it down, it seems. But all at once, as opposed to doing like one by one. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it. Like once you get results, you should just stamp it so it doesn't keep reprocessing over and over. Okay, and so that's how this works. Now, one thing I need to mention is that this supplier list is not fixed. It's not, meaning you can remove and you can add to this list. This is a list of suppliers from SKUGrid, which is the software I use to track prices and stock suppliers. So SKUGrid is it's a good software for tracking supplier stock, mainly for drop shipping. But even if you're not drop shipping, like I still use it in doing FBA, online arbitrage, where I can track, prices at a certain, online store where I might want to buy some products and either do FBA or just ship them straight to customers, regular FBM. So it doesn't just have to be for drop shipping, but it is widely used for drop shipping on a lot of different marketplaces. So that's what, and I have a link for the in the description of this video for that, and in this Google Sheet as well. And so if you're working with those SKU suppliers, you know, it'll help to know what brands are coming from those suppliers. Now, I mean, I pretty much demonstrated how the sheet works. There's really not much more to it than that, except, again, I just want to mention that you can add suppliers. I don't think I was clear on that. You can actually type them in here is what I mean. So you could actually type a name in, and then if you want to fill this part out, you can. But you know, you can actually put, but make sure you put .com or .whatever, the domain as it's called, which is usually going to be .com. But in some cases it might not be. But you're going to put .com, the domain, in here, okay? If you want to add other suppliers. Now, what I'd like to talk about, I pretty much demonstrated how the sheet works as far as the auto matching part goes. But I'd just like to talk a bit about the best use of the Google Sheet. So, for one, the best use to me is to do brands in bulk. I mean, that only makes sense, right? Because if I were just going to look at one brand and check out the suppliers for one brand, well, I don't really need this Google Sheet for that. Just Google the brand and just go through the list and see what suppliers come up, right? So you don't, I mean, if you're just going to check 1 or 2 or 3 brands, I don't really see the point in using this. But if you're going to do, you know, like 300 brands like I just did, if you want to do that many, or if you just want to revisit, you know, a list of brands that you're building, maybe you have a list of 100 brands and you just want to be able to always see what suppliers go with those brands right away. You know, the point is, if you have a lot of brands, that's when this will come in handy. The way you can get a lot of brands in here from Amazon, because you want them to be on Amazon, obviously, if you're selling on Amazon, is using Keepa Product Finder. And that's what I did here. So I'm not going to really show the process in this video because I've shown it before in another video. I can link that video. I showed how to actually get the brands out. But basically what you do is you run a filter on a category. I did home and kitchen, I think, for this video, and I exported it to Excel, right? And when you export the products to Excel, you're going to get a list like this. And then what you do is you find the brand column. You can use find, because there are a lot of columns, so you're going to have to find it, or you have to memorize where the brand column is. And you actually select these brands and you copy them out, and you can paste them here in another sheet or something, and then you remove the duplicates using data remove duplicates. Okay, I'm doing it, I'm just explaining it quickly here, but I have a video where I actually showed step by step how to do this. I'm just kind of going over it here, and then that will give you a list of brands where you don't have any repeats, where it's a unique list because you're going to use remove duplicates. Now you have a list of brands that come from that category. Alright, so you're basically downloading the products just so you can get the brands out from those products. So you're downloading products from the home category or whatever category you're interested in, just so that you can get access to the brands that go with those products. And then you're pulling those brands out, and you're going to bring those brands right into here, which is what I did, and you just drop them right in here, right, for the home and kitchen category. And now you're able to immediately compare these brands against this large list of suppliers. And by the way, there's really no limit to this. Like, I have a list of suppliers from Rake It In. Many of those Rake It In suppliers, some of them are on SKU Grid, some are not. But you could literally drop thousands of suppliers in here on this list of suppliers, and actually it will compare the brand against, you know, those thousands, right? So really what happens is it does a web search, and if those so I just kind of want to quickly explain how this thing works, because I think it makes more sense if you understand how it works. So let's take, for instance, what brand was this? Okay, what is this? AWQM, which is supposedly at Wayfair, right? What it does is it just Googles the brand, and if you notice, immediately you see Wayfair right there. You see Amazon, and then you see Wayfair. You see eBay, okay? That is how this works, okay? It realizes that Wayfair is in the results, wayfair.com. And actually, if you click this link, you're going to see, there it is, the brand AWQM. Okay, the same brand that this thing matched automatically to wayfair.com. When you Google it, in fact, it is at wayfair.com. You're going to see it has a wayfair.com brand page. Okay, so that is how the system works. So the system is no different from manual. It's still, the funny thing is, although it's automated, it's actually using a manual method So there's no API system. That's why this doesn't cost anything to do. Once you have this Google Sheet, it's not costing you anything. There's no monthly fee for this. There's no add-on. There's nothing like that, because there's no special API service. It's literally doing what you would do, just a little faster. It's taking the product brand, the brand, yeah. It's Googling that brand. It's looking up the brand on Google, searching it on Google. But well, actually, it doesn't use Google because Google Sheets doesn't allow you to do Google. Google prefers you go directly to Google and Google like I'm doing now. Okay, so I don't use Google for this. Actually, I use Bing, but you could use different search engines. But anyway, and that's what it does. Okay, that's really what it does. So basically, it just pulls up the results, and then it kind of goes through and figures out what suppliers the results match to. So that is basically the idea of this. Okay. I have a. Oh yeah, this was something I got pasted over there. Okay, now, so that's basically how it works. So the idea now, I mean, as far as actually applying this to product research, I mean, that could really be a whole nother video in itself. But I mean, to me, well, I shouldn't say to me. The idea here is that you can go to the supplier with that brand in mind, and you can look at these products specifically, right? Or you can go to Amazon and check out that particular brand, and you can see what products they have on Amazon, and then you can see if you can source them to that supplier, right? So there's really kind of two directions you can go here. You can go straight to a supplier and see what's going on with that brand, or you can go to Amazon and see what's going on with the brand. I say go to Amazon because you want to make sure Amazon is what's going to determine what happens with the brand, because if Amazon says you don't have approval, well, then it's over, right? Unless you try to get approval. So I say go to Amazon, see what Amazon has to say about the brand, where your account is concerned. See about restrictions. You can use the Chrome extensions like what I use. I got this Chrome extension that I'm using right now. And then I also have this, which is the IP alert. Sometimes they agree on certain things with a brand, like the brand risk. In this case, they seem to agree. There's no warning here, and there's also no warning here about the brand and IP claims, so that makes me feel good. Sometimes one program would tell me the brand is fine, and then the other one would tell me their IP claims. If I see even one of these Chrome extensions talking about IP complaints, I'm probably just going to avoid that brand. If even one of the programs, so I don't need both of them to say it. I just only need one Chrome extension to tell me that there's an IP issue with the brand, and I'm just not going to really mess with that brand. Okay, so if you have Chrome extensions, that can help you as well. But there are the restricted lists on Google that you can check. But I've explained in another video that we don't know how up to date those are always. So it's not always, but it's something. It's better than nothing. I mean, it doesn't show up on any of those restricted brands lists, but honestly, I mean, you really should invest in some kind of software to help you with that, because the IP claims have only increased on Amazon with time. It's not. It's more of an issue, not less of an issue. And to me, I mean, I understand we all want to save money, of course, but it's, to me, like, it's one of the things that I don't want to really save money on when it comes to my Amazon account. Is I want to know if I'm going to get IP claims from a brand, okay? Because I want to keep my account. So, this one seems to be helping with that, and also IP alert. All right, and so I have links for both of those. But I'm not sure if I have links. I know I have a link for IP alert. I have to see if I have a link for this Chrome extension. But yeah, that's basically the process, right? So anyway, the point in this video, as I said, was really mainly just to show how this Google Sheet actually works. It's essentially a program built into a Google Sheet. So there's an actual coded program which you can view on the script editor. If you go to Tools, Script Editor, you can see the actual code that I wrote to run the actual brand to supplier matching process, as well as the other buttons that you see here. there's that run in the background, and then there's the formulas that are right in here, like for these links, this formula that's doing this. Also, the suppliers has a formula telling you how many brands were matched for each supplier. So you can look at suppliers here, and you can see how many brands were found for that supplier. And if you want, this is another filter we can do. We can take out the 0 with the filter, so that way we only see suppliers where they actually that were actually matched to a brand. Okay, so now we see. All right, you can see that now. So basically, that's something that you can do. You can look, and then this is great because now these are, I mean, if I just did those brands from Home and Kitchen, these are the only suppliers I might be looking at right now. Right? I know that these are the suppliers that have matches over here. So why look at anything else right now, right? Especially if you're trying to find new suppliers, this might be a good way to find new suppliers. I see some suppliers in here I've definitely used. Some I know, some I don't know, and you can just check them out. So, okay. I'm going to turn that filter off. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This is how the Google Sheet works. Do try it. Definitely get your copy of this Google Sheet. I think this can really make a big difference. I mean, it's really just only part of the process. You still have to go source the products and all of that, but this is definitely something that I would suggest. I'm Mr. Mark. This is Excel for Amazon, or Excel for Amazon dropshipping. And yeah, look, you can contact me. I've got contact information on the video if you have questions about this particular resource, but also check my links, see what's there, and hopefully I'll see you around on the channel in another video.